All right, I want to illustrate this really simple trade, high probability trade, and just making it really simple, having a target and having a stop loss where price is likely not going to go to. Right, so pretty simple on BTC. Despite everything, despite maybe coming up even higher, we're just going to frame the trade right here. Targeting these equal lows down here. As you can see, it's very clean. The way it's set up, it's very nice. Just a little bit too clean, a little bit too flat. This is not buy side. It should be called sell side. Okay. And I'll show you how to have additional targets where you could take partials as well. So right now, I got into a short here because that's where I saw where price was. Possible places price may retrace to before moving lower, likely not breaking this high here. Okay, I'll leave it on this time frame. Probably at most around there. It may come up to this high over here. But it should most definitely come to this area here. So just looking at this, it's not a super high RR type of trade, but who cares, right? Because we're dealing in, you're dealing in money. 0.4 contract size. One contract size would be 1 Bitcoin. Okay, so this is 0.4 Bitcoins worth. And, taking profit here would be about $185 US. This is a paper trading account. If you were at 4 lots, taking profit here would be $1,800 just for a really quick trade. It could take a few minutes. It could take an hour or two, maybe a few hours at most. But it should get here relatively soon. Okay, and if that was 40 lots, 40 Bitcoin, then that would be $18,000. Okay, depending on your broker, as long as it's not a tiny broker, it should be able to handle that sort of volume. Considering if you slowly get into the position rather than doing a full market order. So if I was trying to market order 40 Bitcoin short, it would take all the possible buy orders and it would fill me, right? So you may have a price, you may push price up more than normal, but the target here, the equal lows, is just too juicy. So we had price come above these relative equal highs over here, as you can see. Distribute, push down. Now, it did all of that. Where would be the most likely place to go next? To so-called refuel for the next leg, right? We don't care where else it's going to go. We're just clear on this part. Most likely place would be the nice imbalance over here below these equal lows. Really simple stuff. You don't have to make it too complicated. This is somewhat discretionary. It's not mechanical in the sense that, there's a session high or low that we're waiting for to sweep. This is on Bitcoin. I don't really use the time aspect too much for Bitcoin, but yeah, basically really easy. Stop loss here, it shouldn't come all the way back up there because it pushed all the way low. See, it did all this distribution over here. And then it pushed down. I'm just curious what this tool is here. Oh, okay, very interesting. Okay, it's a new tool. Fun tool. But at most it should come in here and come down. Right? Because it did all this distribution. It came here, pushed up one more time, did, and then push low. You did all that distribution here after that final manipulation, where you're likely to go to refuel the equal lows, like I said. Now you can even have even more discretionary targets, like this zone here. Why? There's a nice wickless candle. It's a nice gap. On this time frame, it's a very clear structural OB. And lastly, that would bring us below the 50% and nearing the 62% level. Okay, so I'm just going to record price here, and we can see what it does in fast motion. Okay, so one option of okay, it doesn't let me select this. One option would be to take partials here and then a little bit more here. So I could say pull the TP down here. I could say, okay, I'll take off 0.25 here. And I will take off 0.15 here. Okay, so instead of the original 180, I can make up to 224. You may ask me, like, why don't I just take all here and make, 300 or so, 300 plus? Because we want to capture the low-hanging fruit and not try and target something considerably further. We want to win that trade. We want to take that money. We don't need to be greedy and try and grab something more that's not really high probability. If you can get high probability trades, if you're just making money, getting money on trades, that's very impressive. It's not how far you can get on one trade or how nice your position tool looks in terms of RR. Okay, because again, trading is scalable. It doesn't matter what what your trades look like. You can scale that. You can put on risk that is a lot more, but it should be related to your position, to your overall account size, right? So yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it like this, and then we'll see what happens, and I'll give a recap after. All right, let's go. Okay, so yeah, we saw what happened. We swept this liquidity. I trailed my stop here just to be safe. So we took off most of the position, took the profit here, and yeah, it didn't go as far as here, right? So we're just really framing the high probability trade. If I was trying to be a bit more greedy, I want a bit more of the move. I want to target this imbalance down here. Sometimes you don't get it. So I rather get the high probability move, add more size to it, and then you're making your money. The money's not coming from catching a bigger move. That's the wrong way to think about it. The best way to think about it is catching those safer moves that you know are high probability, and then yeah, just profiting from there instead of trying, on a small account, high risk on a small account, and trying to catch a move that requires, quite a bit of luck and being there in the right time, all that sorts of things. So yeah, that's it for this. Hope you found that useful in framing your own trades with your own techniques. And it's also a bit, this position was a bit, as I illustrated earlier, just buy side liquidity up there. It might come back down here first by all means and not even stop me out, but that's okay. I don't want to take that risk, and I don't want to spend the whole day just watching this trade. Okay, I could have targeted here. But the whole point was, not the whole point, but the whole point in having two profit targets is that at the first profit target, I can take off most of the position and, I can leave a bit more if I feel like I want to be in a position and possibly get a higher, more discretionary target. So yeah, that's it. Okay, see you later.